I have this thinking that it takes one person to make a difference. I really believe that it's one person to make a difference. And people don't change overnight, but the goal is not to make people change, is to plant the seed that in the future hopefully will make people change.
Hi, and welcome to the Innovative Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Isolde Trachtenberg. On the show, you get my conversations with peak performing thought leaders, creatives, and entrepreneurs. We explore how you can innovate through creativity, compassion, and collaboration. I believe that innovation combined with compassion and creative thinking can save the world, and I aim to bring you ways you can do it too. If you're enjoying the show, I'd be super grateful if you could support it by buying me a cup of coffee. You can buy me a cuppa at buymeacoffee.com/Isolde T. And now, let's get on with the show. Hey there, and welcome to the Innovative Mindset Podcast. My name is Isolde Trachtenberg, and I am super thrilled that you're here, and I'm also incredibly thrilled and honored to have this week's guest on the show. Wait till you hear about this gentleman. Wally Green is a celebrity table tennis pro and entertainer. He grew up in a housing project in Brooklyn where gangs and violence were a huge part of his life. Today, his life has completely changed by the sport of table tennis, and he's represented the U.S. in numerous international competitions across the world, the most recent being North Korea. I can't wait to hear about that one, where he was the only Westerner who dared to participate. His ping-pong diplomacy is incredible and effective. He's infectious. His enthusiasm for the sport and for life in general is contagious. You're going to hear it for yourself in just a minute. He's also appeared in numerous media outlets, from talk shows to TV spots to numerous newspapers and magazines. And he co-founded Spin New York, and it's a premier social ping pong club, bar, and restaurant. And I've been to Spin, and it's fabulous. But he's also one of the people who helped found the table tennis tables at Bryant Park. And that is amazing in itself, because it was the subject of a documentary called The Tables. That whole area and the people who make up the players at those tables, while being one of them. So I'm excited to talk about so many different things. Wally, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
This is so amazing. Right before we started recording, you were talking about how you have gone full on into Clubhouse. And watching you speak, it was amazing because you're so animated, so excited about your life and about what you're doing. What made you choose Clubhouse as your latest greatest thing? I need to know that first, because it's to hear hearing your enthusiasm was amazing.
Um, I found out about Clubhouse through this actually kind of the way we met, through the whole podcasting thing.
Uh-huh.
And somebody, Justin Womack, his name is, nominated me to Clubhouse. And but nobody really taught me how to use Clubhouse. So I just got on and I just started going nuts, just like checking stuff out, like how it worked, and then I realized the potential it had for networking. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know, people can actually talk. You can meet people that you wouldn't have a chance to meet. So then I said, all right, I got to make a name for myself in this on this app, right? Because I never was really into social media. I never really liked or engaged on my Instagram. I just posted and just didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, because of COVID happened, you know, now we got to think of other ways to do things, and social media is one of them. So I was like, I got into Clubhouse, and then I saw the potential. So since I've been on there, like I've just been going to room to room to room to room. I always talk. And I've been building my Instagram this way. I even started a TikTok, which is nuts. Like I gave up on TikTok like a year ago.
Uh-huh.
You know, I made one post, I got one follower and one like, and it's still like that for 6 months. And I said, forget this app. And so I started actually 7 days ago exactly. And I said, I'm gonna make one post every day for 14 days.
Wow.
So Clubhouse has got me like just really getting my social media. I go into so many rooms. I even do a roulette. So for those of you who have Clubhouse, you know you can scroll through the hallways by just swiping. So every day, as uh, with the rooms that I actually run, I have to swipe 3 times and let it roll. And whatever room it lands in, no matter what room it lands in, I have to go in that room and I have to raise my hand. And no matter what the topic is, I have to try to say something. And I do this every day 4 times. And now people know me. I go in a room, they go, "Hey, Wally, hey, Wally's here. What's up?" Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I love it. I love it. It's so exciting. I'm excited that you're in Clubhouse and I'm going to have to follow you. Now, here's something that there's so many questions. What's interesting about what you just said to me, not just about Clubhouse and social media, but about your mindset. It feels to me like you're fearless. You go, I'm going to try this new thing. You don't hesitate. You jump in. What accounts for that, do you think, that your ability to go, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it, and I'm going to make these you set up these rules for yourself. I have to do it 3 times. I have to raise my hand. I have to talk, and it has to happen 4 times. Where is your head at when you're doing something like that?
I think it comes from the kind of really crazy childhood I have, and then how I was able to change my life
Mm,
through my sport. And after I was able to change my life, then I realized that if I really focus, and I believe this, I'm a true believer. If you really, really focus and you really, really want something deeply, that you'll get it
mm,
always. I don't believe I don't believe that if you really want something deeply, it's one thing to say, "Oh, I want to do this," but it's one thing to really feel in your heart that you really want to do it. It's two totally different things. So, I've figured out that whatever I feel really in my heart, and it comes with you being 100% honest with yourself, that I can do it.
mhm.
So anything that I want to do, I just go in so hard. I mean, it's bad because I've been losing a lot of sleep, but I've also got a lot of gain. Yeah, it's bad. Like, yeah. But I've also gained what I wanted to gain. The whole idea of this was to connect with different
Mhm.
people, revisit my social media, which I didn't really care about, and boost up my social media. And I've done it. Like I said, in a month, I've already gained over 1,000 followers in a month. Right. I mean, I've had the same amount of followers for 5 or 6
Mm.
years. So I've gained more followers in a month than I've gained in 6 years.
Wow.
Right. So yeah, and I've already gained 2K followers on the app itself in a month. And that's for me just going and talking and always sharing my story. Like last night at like 5 a.m., I was in a room that I'm a moderator
Mhm.
in, and it's a networking room, actually silent networking room. And I kind of told the whole North Korea story for everybody to hear. And it was crazy. Like people were like going nuts about it and asking all these questions. So yeah, it's just a lot of work. I tell people, like, when you do stuff like this, and this is part of my talks, when I do talks in Clubhouse, I say you have to know why you're on this app. If you're on this app to have fun, then that's different. You're on this app to have fun. But if you're on this app to make some difference in your life, then you have to treat it like a job. And that's why I'm tired, because I do treat it like a job.
Mhm.
Like, I take it very serious. When I'm on there, and I'm really focused, and I'm really engaging and really talking. So yeah, that's pretty much that with the app. But I need to get some sleep soon. Exactly.
Well,
This is
we
crazy.
won't make this too long an interview then, so you can go get a nap.
It's fine. It's fine. The longer the better.
So
Longer the better.
so talk to me, if you would. First of all, I want to know the North Korea experience. The North Korea story sounds incredible, and I want to get to that. But I want to go back a little bit, if you would. You said table tennis changed your life. How? I'm a player also. Although I grew up with a ping pong table in my basement. That's how I learned how to play.
Oh wow,
And
that's
and I've
cool.
played at the Bryant Park tables, and I play whenever I can, but I'm not a table tennis player, obviously, like you are your champion. So, but how, when you were young, how did table tennis transform you? What happened that it became such an influence in who you are today?
Well, when I was younger, I was doing the whole gang thing.
Mm.
I already had guns at an early age at 13. I was doing a lot of really crazy, like insane stuff. And I didn't really have no way out because I grew up in the projects, and that's kind of what we do sometimes, in certain situations. And I found the sport at a later age, when I started playing shooting pool. And to make a long story short, I wind up at a table tennis hall because some kids told me, "Hey, there's a club for this," and I was like, "Really?" Because I actually didn't like this sport in high school, so I didn't play in high school. Like, they had it in my high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to actually bully the kids who played it because I was on a football team, I was on a basketball team, so I bullied all the kids who played it because it was in the lunchroom. So we would come from practice, and we would have to come through the lunchroom because our field exit was from the lunchroom,
Mm-hmm.
and we would come through the lunchroom and we'd see the kids, and I would make fun of them. Yeah, so I hope they don't see me now or hear me. But yeah, so this random guy saw me at the club, and I'm skipping a lot of the story so we have time for this stuff. But he saw me at the club, and he says to me, "Hey, do you have a partner?" And I was like, "Well, not really." So he says, "Hey, I'll pay you $20 if you can play with me." And I was like, "Whoa, $20? That was like a hustle for me, right? Because I was poor, I didn't have no money. And $20, man, that was, it's a hustle. I can get $20 2 times a week just to hit some balls with this guy, and I sucked. Like, but I'm usually better than the average person at any sport that I play. Like, I pick any. I'm just an athlete, so any sport I pick up, I learn extremely fast, and then yeah. So, I hit with this guy, and he we talked a little bit, and I told him, just like I'm telling you, like, about my gang, because my gang was the people that I trusted, and that's the people that I hung out with all the time, and they were more important to me than my family. And I told him, all this stuff, but for him, it was like a TV show, like it wasn't real. And I can understand, if you don't know anyone in that lifestyle, or you've never met anyone in that lifestyle, then for most people, it's like a TV
Mm-hmm.
show, right? It's like something you see on TV. It's not real. How can a 13-year-old get guns? But the answer to that question is very easily, depending on where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, he really didn't get it. And then one day I went to the club, and a gun fell out of my bag, and he saw it, and I thought for sure, the first thing I thought was like, there goes my $20. It's gone.
Mm.
He's not gonna play with it anymore. And then I was like, I gotta go, because I know him, but I don't know if he's gonna call the police. I don't know what he's gonna do. Right. So I just left. And then I figured, okay, that chapter is done. He's definitely not gonna play with me. And then the guy calls me the next day, or either a day or 2 days later, and the guy goes, "Hey, um, are we still gonna play?" And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, we're supposed to play." And I was shocked, because normally when you see someone, you know, uh brandish a gun in front of you, or falls out of their bag or whatever, I mean, you're not gonna hang out with that person,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, you're gonna just kind of like just distance
Mm-hmm.
yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he gave me this really, really, like, strange look. And when I went back to play with him, and he goes, almost like a dad, like how your dad would look at you, and he says to me, he goes, "I really want to help you." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." He goes, "I want you to come visit my family." And I was like, "What?" And in my mind, I was like, "Is this guy crazy? Like, he wants me to visit his family." And not only did he want me to visit his family, he had an apartment in New York City. Then he had a house near Hunter Mountain, like in the
Mm-hmm.
woods, right? And he's telling me to come visit his family in the woods. And I'm like, "Is this dude nuts? Like, you just saw me like with a gun, and now you want me to bring me to the woods?" So I was like, "All right, this is nuts." But I said, okay, because I still wanted, the whole goal was keeping that $20 coming,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was like, all right, we'll go. So I went to his house, I met his family, and I played with them, actually. And he told me, he goes, "Hey, I really want to help you a lot." so I'm gonna pay for you to go to Germany to learn ping pong. Apparently he had a connection in Germany, which I never knew, with a sports school. So that's how the sport changed my life, because it took me out of that circle that I was in and put me in a totally different environment. And that was the start. I mean, the change came at least a month after I was there. But yeah, but that's how it started.
Incredible. I'm so glad that he was able to do that for you and that you took him up. Again, that notion of courage is so, it looks like it's so prevalent in your life that you grab onto it and you go. That's incredible. And so when we talk about that idea of going, of actually putting your money where your mouth is and actually doing the thing, tell me the North Korea story. How did you, what 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 decided you? What inspired you to go to North Korea? And how did it go when you got there?
So I I I have this thinking that it takes one person to make a
Mm,
difference. I really believe that it's one person to make a difference, and people don't change overnight, but the goal is not to make people change; is to plant the seed that in the future hopefully will make people
mhm,
change. So I saw, I've heard about North Korea, of how dangerous it is for Westerners, how dangerous it is for Americans, especially Americans. And I was reading what they thought about us. Like, we were the devil, we were evil, and all this craziness that just wasn't true. And there's a big historical moment in America. It's, I think, 1971. If I remember correctly, it should be 1971. I think Nixon was the president. America established relations with China through ping pong. That's why you have the ping pong. It's called the ping pong diplomacy. It's a historical moment in American history,
mhm.
and that's where Forrest Gump comes from. So the story of Forrest Gump is sort of based on that ping pong diplomacy. So I was looking through the International Table Tennis Federation's line of tournaments for the year. So I was seeing all the countries I was going to play in. And then I saw North Korea. And I said, oh my God, I got to go to North Korea. And Dennis Rodman actually had just came back from North Korea. He had just came back from there.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my God, I got to go to North Korea. I want to do my own ping pong diplomacy. I got to do it. I got to do it. Right. And so I saw the entry, and I called the US team and said, hey, listen, you guys got to enter me into this tournament. And they were reluctant at first, but I was like, listen, I want to go. Everybody told me don't go there, it's too dangerous. And nope, I want to go. I tried to contact people in the world. Like, I have so many friends all over the world who play for their team. I was like, hey, let's go to North Korea and do like a ping pong diplomacy. And it was like, no, we're not going. So I said, okay, nobody wants to go, I'm going by myself. So I literally went there by myself to North Korea. I arranged everything by myself. The only thing the US team did was make the entry, because you cannot make the entry by yourself for the pro tours, the international pro tours. The US team has to make the entry. But everything else I did myself. I made the visa myself. I went to make the visa myself. I met with the North Korean consulate. Yeah, everything I just went alone, and it was really uh, interesting experience.
So when you were there, I imagine that, well, I'll just ask the question. I'm sure people are people. So what was it like being the only Westerner in that tournament and also being one of the few Westerners who has been in North Korea in decades?
It was it like I can tell you about a particular moment. Um, I remember, so I had to play China, right? And then I had to play a North Korean, which was really interesting. So, in North Korea, there's only North Koreans. So there was about, I think, maybe 3 to 5 thousand fans, and they're all North Koreans, right? So I'm getting to play this guy, and I we set up like we stand in a certain location, right? And then they introduce us, and then it's one umpire, then him, one umpire, and then me. And then we have this little walk that we do to the tables that we're going to play on, which is like the main table. And I just felt like 5,000 eyes on me. Like you can feel it. It's really, it's one of the most intense situations I've ever been in, where every single person in that hall was looking at me, because here I am. I'm an American, first of all, a Black American, which they probably haven't seen much. I mean, probably never seen, except for Dennis Rodman. That was about it. And I'm sure half the people there never even noticed that Dennis Rodman was there. So for them, I was definitely like something from somewhere else. Right. And you could tell, because you can feel it. It's crazy. You can feel eyes on your body when 5,000 people are looking at you. So as soon as I was walking out, like they were just all looking at me. And it was really tense moment. But I knew I went there to make a difference. I didn't know how I was going to make a difference, by the way. I had no idea. I had no plan. But the first step was just getting there, and then it would just come. So I get to play the North Korean, and I start going up. You know, I start off really good. You know, I win the first point, I win the second point, I win the third point, you know, but every time I win the point, there's a sound that goes like this. Oh, oh. Now imagine 5,000 people making this sound every time you make a point. So that was even more, that was so intense, because it was just weird. It was like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? Right? I didn't expect that. And when the North Korean player made the first point, everybody started clapping, like really loud. Then he made another point. They started clapping louder. They made another point, and it started getting like, it was crazy. It was like usually I'm the underdog. Like, why are they clapping for this dude? He's better than me, right? And so they just clapping, and now it's so loud. And I've never been in a situation where I'm considered, like, the way they were clapping, like I was the better player, and that he was coming back to win this great match against this better player. No, he was way better than me. It's just that I was just playing well at the time. And it got so loud to where I couldn't concentrate. Like, it was crazy. It was beyond. And then I thought about it. I said, yo, you know what? I said, this is it. This is where I'm going to make the difference. Right? So I look up, and I just look at the audience, and I just start smiling, right? And as I smile, everyone starts smiling. It's the craziest thing ever. So I look up and I smile, and then they smile, and they start laughing. And so I said, oh my God, I've just captured these people. This is genuine. This smiles are genuine. You can't fake this, because they didn't know what I was going to do. Maybe they thought I was going to start yelling and say, hey, shut up or something, right? So I just started smiling. They smiled. So I would play the match, right? And then so I decided, you know what? The match is not important right now. Forget about this match. What's important now is to do what I came here for, and that's to do my diplomacy. So I got the crowd watching. So every time I would look up, and then I would just smile at them, right? And then they would smile back, and they would laugh. And so I kept doing it throughout the match. I just looked, and I kept being engaging and just showing them that, yeah, Americans are not the devil, it's not like that. And I just smile, and they would smile. And then at the end of the match, so I wound up losing the match, of course. And at the end of the match, you have to shake hands, right? It's an etiquette. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Christian, black, white, orange, purple, doesn't matter. It's sport. You have to shake hands, right? So my opponent started. I was walking towards my opponent, the North Korean, to shake his hand, and he was coming to shake my hand. But you could see that he really didn't want to shake my hand, right? He was reluctant. It was a kind of, so one of those handshakes when you don't want to shake someone's hand, but you have to. So he reached his hand out, kind of not wanting to do it. And then I just grabbed his arm, and I pulled him in, and then gave him the biggest bear hug ever. And and my camera, I'm filming this, and my camera's like facing my back, which is his front, right? And so you see his face at first, he was like shocked. But then you get this smile that came right after it. And that's what I went all the way there for, to get that genuine smile that you can't fake, right? So for the rest of his life, he's never gonna forget this black guy with crazy bleached hair with designs from America
Mm-hmm.
who gave him the biggest hug in his life. Those 5,000 people are never gonna forget what they saw that day. So you may not change their mind right away, but I planted the seed of possibility that maybe not all Americans are the devil, and maybe not all Americans are bad, maybe not all Westerners are evil, right? Because the evil person wouldn't hug you like that,
Mm.
right? So yeah, so that was my diplomacy, and yeah, now I'm working on a documentary about it, but yeah, that was pretty much it. It was really like that moment was insane. And people clapped, like they cheered and they clapped. And it was just like, wow, here's this American hugging a North Korean in North Korea. It's just nuts. But that's pretty much the story of the North Korea.
Wow. Incredible. I I'm taking a second because I want to take it all in. It's amazing to me. Again, the word that keeps coming up in my head about you is courage and guts. It seems to me, like you said, whatever it is that I want, if I want it badly enough and deeply enough, there's no way I can't get it, which I think is a wonderful way of looking at things. And yet, in that moment, it feels, listening to you, it feels like it was much more about them than it was about you, if you see what I mean. That it was a giving moment rather than a taking one. When you were in that space, when you were working, playing, realizing the guy was better than you, what happened to make, like you said, you decided that this isn't about the game, this is about the diplomacy. What happened inside you that made you go, "Oh, this is what this trip is about," instead of, "Oh, I'm here to play table tennis?"
I mean, it was from when I could get the connection with the
Mm.
fans. I I didn't expect the connection with the fans. Like when I looked up and smiled, I mean, why would they smile back? Like, in most cases, you look up and smile, and the people are just saying boo to you. They don't want you to win, right? So I was shocked. Like I was, wow, wow. I smiled, and everyone else is smiling too. I was like, wow, this is cool. And then right at that point, like when I realized that I could grab the attention of all those fans with just a smile, then I knew. I was like, this is it right here. This is your moment. This is where how you're gonna make a
Mm.
difference, and you're gonna use you've already captured this crowd, and they're all watching you, and they're all, everything you do, they're watching you. Smile, they're gonna smile, right? I mean, it could have went another way, right? I could have got really angry and just yelled out like, yo, can you stop? Or, because it was, I can't begin to tell you how intense that was. Like, just imagine being in a hall and 5,000 people clapping in unison, mind you, and cheering every time someone makes a point. Like 1 point, crazy, 2 points, crazy, and it gets louder and louder. It's really hard to concentrate. So I could have, I could have shown anger and stuff like that, but I didn't. I just showed love and happiness, and yeah. So right at that point, I knew that this was the goal, and this was the reason, and this was how I was going to do my
Mm.
diplomacy.
But it also takes a certain amount of really, crystal clear focus to be aware enough. You were aware enough to understand that it wasn't about the game. You were aware enough to understand that you had to do something different than what might otherwise be expected. And keeping your head, there's a great poem by Rudyard Kipling that starts, "If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs. That's the first line. And it's about, what it means to be an adult, or in this case, in the case of the poem, what it means to be a man. And so you kept your head, right? And so what I'm wondering is, where does that focus come from? Where do you have a practice that you do to maintain that focus? Or is it just something that's innate and it's just something you have?
I think that kind of focus comes from being in the situations that I was in when I was younger, because a lot of people ask me, they always ask, they say, if I could go back and change all the things that I've been through and all the things that I've done as a kid and a gang member, would I do it? And the answer is always no. I would definitely not. I would not change anything, because those are the things that made me what I am today. And I think that focus comes from that, always having to pay attention, always having to watch your back, always having to know who's around you all the time, who's in front of you, who's in back of you, always having to know what the person that's sitting across from you is talking about, even though you're not in their conversation. So I think the focus stems from that, when I was like in a gang and stuff like that.
And pulling yourself out, making the decisions that you've made to be a successful athlete, a successful businessman, you have to keep that focus. You have to keep that rigor, if you will. And yet the game of table tennis, and this comes from, as I said, I grew up playing, but never professionally, obviously. But it's also just fun, Do you have fun playing table tennis, or is it just, this is my sport, this is what I do, and that's it?
No, I have too much fun. I think I have more fun than anyone. I mean, that's why, like, a lot of times, like, I'll play. I have a mini paddle that I play good players who actually practice every day with, it's as a handicap for me, and it's so fun to play with it. I have a cell phone this phone is just dedicated to playing ping pong. That's all it's for. It's for playing ping pong. It's an iPhone 6 that I
As your
use
paddle?
as my paddle for playing ping pong. Yeah, if you get a chance, you go to my Instagram, you'll see I'm playing against, or Facebook, I'm playing against an up and coming junior girl, and 90%, it's crazy. 90% of people who go and see this, they go, "Oh man, wow, you're so good, and you played so far from the table, and oh my God, those points were amazing." But they didn't realize it was a cell phone that I was playing with until I tell them, "Hey, did you know that was a cell phone?" And they go, "Ha ha ha ha." They're laughing like I'm joking. Then they go back and like, "What? Oh my God, it was a cell phone." Yeah. So I have fun like that. Like I beat people with my cell phone. We get a lot of celebrities coming, and I challenge them with my cell phone. Like the last person I beat before the pandemic was Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants, the running back. Yeah, he thought he was good at ping pong. I took out the cell phone, whooped him.
Oh.
Yeah, so I love playing. I love, like, it's funny because anything that you do, I think, well, anything that I do, I try to be serious at it. So even if I'm having fun, I'm serious at having fun. So for example, if I'm playing with my cell phone, right, I practice it. Like I take an hour. Like, let's say I go to practice, maybe an hour of my practice, maybe I usually play, like, when I do go practice, maybe like 4 or 5 hours. But 1 hour of that is dedicated to me using my cell phone. So the person I'm practicing with, I'll just have them keep spinning balls, maybe to forehand, to backhand, to the middle. I come in, I run back out, I come in, I drop a short, attack with the cell phone, and I'll do this for an hour because I have a goal. I have a goal for 2021, and it's to beat this girl. I gotta beat this girl. I can't beat her. She's beating me. She's beating me pretty much every time, but it's always close. 3 games to 2. It's always close, and she has an edge because she's also extremely focused, and she adjusts the way her brain works is amazing, because I find loopholes in her game, but then she just counters, she notices immediately and she fixes the problem. So yeah,
Wow.
so I told her, I said my goal for 2021 is to beat you. So yeah, stay tuned for that,
Ah,
because it's do or die. It's do or die.
I love it. I love it.
So,
So I actually now that I'm thinking about it, I rewatched The Tables, the documentary that was done about the players at Bryant Park in New York City. Is there a little bit of footage of you playing with your cell phone? Do you remember?
no, no, no,
Okay.
no,
Cause cause I
no,
thought there
no.
was.
I
I
don't
was
think
like,
so.
what's that? Your paddle looked funny to me, and I was like, what is that he's playing with?
Oh, that might have been the little paddle.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Also, yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a mini paddle that I play better players with.
I love it. I
So
love it.
it's a very small paddle, so it makes it harder for me. I get less power from it, less spin. I have to move a lot more. I have to watch the ball more. So it makes me more focused. It actually improves my game by using it too.
Hmm. And when you come to the tables at Bryant Park, are you a celebrity or are you just one of the guys who plays?
Yeah. Um, for me, I'm one of the guys who plays. Like I just go to hang out, and most times I don't even play. I just go to sit down because I feel like you know I'm not the kind of guy to like show off,
Mm,
right? So I don't want to go on the table because I know I'm way better than everyone else. I don't want to go on the table and then beat up people. So I just most times I go and I sit down. For a long time I didn't even play. I just go and watch and
mhm,
let them have their time and let them enjoy. And then people would come up to me and ask, even they would ask me to play, and I'd be like, no, no, this is your time. You play. I'm just gonna watch. And then they would ask me questions, about ping pong and me traveling and stuff like that. And that was cool. And I would answer the questions for them. So me personally, I didn't feel myself to be a celebrity. I mean, maybe they thought I was, but for me, it was just chilling. Like we're all cool, and yeah, you can ask, I tell them you can ask me any question you want, yeah. So that's pretty much that.
I love it. I just recently moved to New York in June of 2019 from DC. But one of the things, and I've been wanting to live in New York City since my family immigrated to the USA. When the plane came into JFK and I saw New York City when I was 7 years old when we were immigrating from the former Soviet Union, I went, what? Wait, I have to live here someday. So finally, I did. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do it when I did was we discovered the tables at Bryant Park. And yeah, because as I said, I love it. And I met Austin. You know who Austin is, I'm sure.
Oh, Austin, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he talks you up, my friend. He talks you up. He's like, oh, well, he's the best. So, yeah, it's a real culture there of people who just love the sport and who are there. Whenever I go see people who are there often, and I've probably even seen you, only I was probably too shy to say anything. I won't say that anymore. But what's interesting me about that space is that it's free. It's it's just something that if you want to play the game, you can come and play the game. And I'm wondering, you were one of the people who supports these tables. You helped found the tables, from what I understand. What made you decide to do that?
So originally the reason for those ping pong tables was a marketing tool,
Uh huh.
in a collaboration with Bryant
Uh
Park.
huh.
So that was the original reason. So it was branded with Spin New York on it, and the logos and stuff like that. And what its purpose was to draw people to the
Mm hmm.
business, was to draw people to Spin.
Mm hmm.
And they would see the logos, and this was provided by Spin or whatever, and people would go to the
Mm hmm.
business. But it turned into its own community of people who love to play only
Mm hmm.
outside. Yeah, so yeah, it was really interesting to see how it formed of just people, from all over, all walks of life, and they just come every day to play. I mean, there are people who go there every day. I mean, sometimes in the winter, people, I mean, if you go there today, I mean, today's like what, 34, 35 degrees. I guarantee you there's people playing right
Mm-hmm.
now. So like, it just became a community of just these great, amazing people from every walk of life you could think of. And everyone there was equal.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone there is equal. Like even when I go there, you know, I don't try to be better than anyone. You know, for me, I'm like, yeah, well, we're all equal, you know. And I go and I sit down and I just watch,
Mm-hmm.
you know, yeah. But that was the main purpose of the tables. And it just turned into something amazing.
It is incredible. I love it, and I've gone after seven with my paddle and balls, and
Oh man, really? I didn't know
oh
that. I didn't know you were going after
oh
seven.
yeah, 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 yeah. My husband and I go, and you know we play, and I think I've won one game once after seven, so I got to play two games in a row, but
Oh,
otherwise no. Uh,
uh,
but uh, but
oh,
but yeah, it's fascinating to me that the way you market, the way your mind works is just amazing. You went, "Oh, I'm gonna market my indoor table tennis ping pong business by doing this partnership and having table tennis outside, ping pong outside at Bryant Park, and there are other parks now too that have ping pong tables." But I'd love to talk a little bit about
yeah.
spin, if that's okay. First of all, I love spin so much that I write fiction books, and in my first book, two of the characters go to spin on a date. So,
Oh, wow, it's cool.
yeah, they actually literally go and play. Uh, they play ping pong at spin on this date in the book, and how did that happen? What did you do to go, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get this space on 23rd Street and I'm gonna open up an indoor ping pong club. What was how did that come about?
So originally, we used to have a party in a loft apartment. So my friends were
Mm,
filmmakers, right? So there was Jonathan, Frank, and Bill who used to be with us, and they were all filmmakers,
mhm,
and I was the pro table tennis player. And I met them at a
mhm,
competition where I was playing someone, and the guy's coach was deliberately being disrespectful as we were playing to kind of like throw me off my
mm,
game so I would lose to his student. So and what he was doing is like technically illegal because you're not supposed to disturb the match that's going
mhm,
on. But nonetheless, he was doing that, and I was getting really upset. And then I shouted out, "If you don't shut the F up, I'm gonna punch you in the face for 10 minutes." and and the three guys, they lived together in this loft apartment. They heard me say that and they were like, "Oh my God, this guy's nuts. We need to meet this guy." So they came up to me and started talking. I was like, "Yeah, we have this loft apartment and we have a ping pong table in it." And they said, "You should, come play with
mhm,
us." So I would go there and play with them, play ping pong, and have some fun. And then it started to become more people coming over to play ping pong.
mhm,
So we started having these parties where people would come and play ping pong and have some drinks, and just hang out. It's just more like a hangout,
mhm,
right? And then the party got bigger to the point where we started getting. I'm skipping a lot of the story, but we started getting sponsors. So like beer companies and vodka companies. Red Bull sponsored us. They wouldn't give us any money. They would only give
mhm,
product, which was fine. So we try to figure out, well, how can what's a good way we can use this? Because we can't sell product in the park. You can't sell alcohol in the apartment. It's illegal.
mhm,
But you can charge $20 a head to get in to play a tournament, and then you give the alcohol away free.
mm,
So we started doing stuff like that. That got really big, so big to where then it came with a website. We called it Naked Ping Pong, and Naked Ping Pong wasn't that we were naked, although it was optional, but it was more. It was more that the mind state that we were in, just naked mind and just, no worries, just have fun and enjoy, and life is good, and let's just relax, enjoy each other's company. So that's what the whole naked ping pong was about. That took off because people were wondering what the hell's going on in this apartment. What's naked ping pong? So that really took off. And then the party got really big. I mean, it got so big to where people wanted us to bring our parties to certain places. So for example, we did some NBA halftime show, the naked ping pong party. We did the Super Bowl party in Arizona many years ago when the Super Bowl was in Arizona with 50 Cent and Vitamin Energy. Like, so our party became like a name, and it became an entity where people wanted to have us, come bring your naked ping pong party here. We want to have your naked ping pong party at our event, right? So got really big. And then in the process of that, we met Susan Sarandon. And Susan Sarandon, I remember the first time I saw her, I came into the apartment and she was sitting down talking. And I was like, the first thing I said to her was like, I know you. You look familiar from somewhere. I didn't realize it was Susan Sarandon. She probably looked at me like I was an idiot that day, because I still remember she said that, and I'm like, yeah, I know you. You look really familiar, and yeah, it was Susan Sarandon in the apartment. I can't believe it. And so yeah, and so we started continue with the parties, and then eventually had to move out of the apartment because the owner wanted to sell it. And then, we thought, how can we take this to the next level? We need to continue this at a higher level, right? And the three of my friends, they came up with this business plan, gave it to Susan, and then Susan loved it because she loved ping pong. And she decided she was going to help us out, and we got investors, and that's how the first location started.
Incredible. I love it. That's so great. And now fast forward, you're in multiple cities. Is that what's going on with that? LA, DC, Chicago? What's up with that?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of locations now. We had some others that actually closed, but yeah, we have a bunch of them. We it's the idea is really good. People like it. There aren't there really is no place like our place. I mean, there are some copycats, but yeah, for the most part, people love it. Like, people just love the idea that you can play ping pong and drink or play ping pong. I mean, it's never been done before. The only idea I saw like this was probably many years ago when I was in Japan. There was a bar in Tokyo that had a ping pong table in it, and it was, but it was more of a bar with one ping pong table, and people would go to drink and play and play. So it's nothing like ours. Like, ours is like a big scale thing. This is, yeah. So I don't know. People love it. Like, they just love it. Celebrities love it. Like, we've had so many celebrities come through, and it's just and like in your the stories that you write, it's like the best first date place.
It is.
Like, a first date place. I mean, if you tell a girl, hey, come on, let's go out, I'm gonna take you to play ping pong. It's just so innocent, and it's just, it's a good icebreaker, because it's an activity that no matter how bad you are, you can have fun at ping pong, right? It's one of those sports that even if you're so bad, you can still have fun. If you go bowling, if you're bad, it's not fun. If you go to shoot pool, if you're bad, it is totally not fun, right?
Sure.
But the object of getting this little ball over the net is really easy to get it over the net, right? So it's a super fun thing to do on a first date. So yeah, so people love it. So we were able to open up multiple locations.
That's wonderful. And I love it. I think it's so, yes, sometimes you end up chasing the ball around a lot, but I'm a better player than my husband, so it's kind of fun that he's usually the one who chases the little ball. So,
But actually, you don't have to chase the ball. A lot of people don't really, it's funny. A lot of people don't realize that. Like we have guys that their job is to pick up the balls. But a lot of people don't realize it though, because they're so used to chasing the ball. So we wanted to eliminate that. We wanted to eliminate having to go chase the ball.
Yeah.
Because everyone's used to chasing the ball.
Right. Well, I loved that we got this huge bucket of balls and when we were there, it was like, 1:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday and the last time, and because it was my birthday. And what's interesting about that is that, first of all, your staff is incredibly friendly. They're so gracious and friendly. It was wonderful. And that it was that it's just it's such a relaxed, peaceful vibe, that I love, that it was so just like, hey, come on in. It's going to be super easy. We're going to make it really easy for you to eat, drink, have a good time, play some ping pong, and it'll be just exactly that. It's easy. It's really easy to do. So what I would love to know from you, Wally, is what's next? You said you're working on a documentary about the North Korea trip.
Yeah, I've been working on this documentary for a very long time. I'm just lazy. Not really lazy. I do it little by little because I how do you say I do so many things. So like the documentary, I always do it little by little. I mean, I've already edited the whole thing already. The timeline is done. I just need to interview. Well, I had to interview one person, but unfortunately, that person passed away because I know I was good friends with one of the people who were actually on the U.S. team for the ping pong diplomacy in 1971.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was meaning to interview him, but he passed away to COVID.
Oh wow.
At least I think it was to COVID. Yeah. So yeah, so that was a key interview that I wanted to do, which is really important for this because he actually lived it and was there in 1971 and played on the US team. So yeah, so I'm just gonna have to probably find some footage of him. But and then I want to interview Dennis Rodman. That's the next person. And then the documentary, then do voiceovers, and then it's pretty much finished.
Wow. That's amazing. And are there any other of the players left from that 1971 ping pong diplomacy? Or it was your friend?
There might be. There might be. I would have to check, but I was really close with this person because once I started playing the sport, I practiced with him a lot, like almost every day.
Wow.
Because I mean, he, even as an older guy, he was super strong and super fit. Like it was crazy. So I played with him a lot. So I have that connection with him, and that's why I wanted, and plus he was the only Black person that was on the team at the time. So we have very similar connection in terms of doing the diplomacy. Yeah, but there's I have to check. I haven't really thought about that part yet. If there are other people.
Wow.
Because I know for sure another one has passed away because he's much older. Yeah. I mean, that's what I might have to do, and then still use some footage
from your friend.
From George. Yeah. So that might be something I might think about doing.
Yeah, that would, honoring him, but also still talking to some of the people who were there would probably be really incredible. And so that's one thing. And you mentioned recently, New York restaurants have gone back to 25% indoor dining, which means Spin can be open. How's that going?
It's going really good, actually. I was surprised the first day we opened, people came. Like I think people are fed up. I think people people want to get out and people want to do stuff. People want to, yeah. So people came, like it was good. We have some rules though. You have to keep the mask on while playing. You don't have to, when you eat, if you're sitting down at your table, you can take it off and eat. But when you're playing or walking through the building, we keep the mask on, part of the mandate. But yeah, it's doing really well. Actually,
I'm so glad.
It's doing better than I thought. I thought it was going to be empty, and then now I'm also starting. So I do a thing Wednesdays and Sundays, which I need to update my site for it. I do free lessons for all frontline workers. Doesn't matter who they are, where they're from. Every frontline worker, I do free lessons from 5 to 9 on Wednesdays and Sundays. So I actually need to go and update the site, because when we closed again, I told them that, I wrote that it was closed and we're going to start again later. But yeah, and this is going to go on for pretty much for the rest of the year.
Wow.
Because I think like all the frontline workers, their jobs are so difficult during this crazy time, and they're nonstop.
Sure.
Like, we get to stay home and be safe, and they're out there every day. And I think the stress levels are so high every day. They have to go to work and deal with this and see this, especially, our nurses and doctors in the hospitals, the ERs and all that stuff, their life every day stress and all the things that they've seen through this pandemic. So I just want to give back, and at least if they come take a 30-minute lesson, it'll be something totally different than what they're used to. And I think it'd make a good reset of the brain, from seeing all of that to doing something totally different that you normally don't do. And then, we have some conversation and play ping pong. Yeah. So that's the thing that I'm going to continue doing until next year, the free lessons for frontline workers.
That's so wonderful that you're doing that. And, you mentioned all the people, the nurses, the doctors, the ER workers, the support staff, the custodial staff, anybody who's working in hospitals and doctors' offices. Yeah. They're all heroes, every single one of them, just doing incredible work.
Even the delivery guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible. What a gracious and generous thing you're doing for people, because I think it's true. I think playing ping pong, I had kind of a difficult childhood myself, and playing ping pong allowed a respite. It was a time when I didn't have to think about anything else and could just play. And so when you do that, when you're playing, and that's something I'd love to know from a player of your caliber, what's going on in your head when you are in the moment of playing table tennis? What is going on inside you?
It's a chess game. Like I compared table tennis and chess are very, very, very similar, except, well, table tennis and speed chess are really similar, because normal chess, you have a lot of time and you can kind of like figure out what you want to do. You take your time, but speed chess, you don't have time. So you need to think moves ahead, like moves ahead quickly. So the table tennis is like that too. You need to, like, for example, if I serve the ball to his forehand, he might play it to my backhand. If he plays it to my backhand, then I'm going to play it down the line. So these are the things that you're thinking of constantly at a super, super high speed. You're always trying to think one step ahead. So usually when I'm playing, it's chess. It's me trying to figure out, if I do something, what is the most likely thing he's going to do? And then what am I going to do to counteract that? But keep in mind, he may not do that. So if he does something else, what can I do to counteract his counteraction? So that's usually what table tennis players at a high caliber are thinking. But it's split second. It's split second. I really can't explain it. It's like playing speed chess. It is exactly like playing speed chess. It's just quick, boom. All right. I know if I make this move, he's going to make that move, then I'll make this move. So let me make this move with the hopes of him making that move. That way I can make this move and win the point. If I don't win the point, then I have another plan that I'm going to utilize to hopefully win that point. So that's the kind of thinking that's going on in your head, like when you're playing.
Amazing. There's something that there's a phrase that I've heard a lot as far as poker, for example, chess, that you play the player, not the game. And do you assess your opponents like that? Do you assess like their
Oh,
weaknesses or what they favor?
yes,
How does that work?
yes. In this sport, you really need to do it, and you need to do it quickly. Like before, when the sport was 21 points, you had time. You had 11 points to figure out something. Now the game's 11.
Mhm.
11 is extremely short. It benefits the lower player.
Mhm.
And you need to figure out in the first few points what your opponent can do and what your opponent can't do.
Mhm.
And those, like, for example, like, maybe I have a couple of serves, right? Maybe the first four times that I'm going to get to serve, I'm going to use four different serves,
Mm.
right? Because you get two at a time. So if I use four different serves the first four times, so I serve twice, two different serves. He serves two times. I serve another time, that's four. So I took 4 points from my service to figure out what service he has problems with. And then on the other side, he's serving to me. Maybe I'm going to push the ball long. Maybe I'm going to give him the attack. Can he do something with this attack? Can he do it with his forehand? Can he do it with his backhand? Or if I play the ball short, what can he do with that? So these are all things that you got to figure out really quickly. And you figure it out, you figure them out by actually doing them. So it can cost you the point. So like sometimes you can lose points figuring things out. But at the end, towards the end, you understand your opponent now, and now you can use what works against them. But then they can also do the same to you. So that's why it's chess. It's a game of chess.
I've never heard table tennis being likened to speed chess before, but the way you explain it, it makes all sorts of sense. You need to write a book there, Wally, among all the other things that you're doing. So,
I have a name
oh yeah,
actually for my, yeah. I just haven't wrote it yet.
okay,
I mean, I wrote that the article for the New York Daily
uh huh,
News, and that's the most I've ever written in my life. I've never I actually don't like
uh
writing.
huh.
So somebody convinced me to write this article about my life in North Korea. And I was like, I don't want to do it. And they're like, no, you got to do it. You got to do it. You really got to do it. And I was like, all right, I'll just try. And so every day I just wrote a little bit in my phone
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
notes, right? And I just wrote a little bit. It took me like, I don't know, maybe 2 months because I don't like writing.
Mm-hmm.
I finished it. And then I had a friend of mine's read it over because I sent it somewhere to get checked.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm a pretty smart dude, man. And I read, and from seeing what they checked, looked like they didn't really read what I wrote.
Hmm.
It looks like they used some app because I noticed, like, when my friend who wrote a book, a bestseller book, gave me the corrections, then I realized that they never really read it because I might have said something the same. I might have said something two different
Mm-hmm.
times. I mean, yeah, I might have said the same thing two different times, but in a different way.
Right.
And so those were the corrections that she made that they didn't make.
Mm-hmm.
So based off her corrections, I knew that to change. And then I submitted it. Nobody would answer me. And then I spoke to someone who would help me. And then the Daily News gave me a 4-page spread.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was printed in a newspaper as well as an online version of it. But that was just so hard, like, to write. So I came up with the name of the book, which is it's gonna be called From the Pistol to the Paddle. So that's the name of my book. I got a cool name, but I just need to start writing it.
Well, I'm going to give you a hint or a trick that will revolutionize this and make the process go faster. Are you ready? All
Yeah.
right. So you can do it one of two ways. You can record voice to text because you're great at speaking, even if you hate writing. So record it and have it transcribe it to text, or record it in as an audio file and go to a transcription service. They have tons of transcription services online, and they'll just transcribe what you said, and it'll come back as a Word document with what you said on it. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, isn't that cool? So
Oh,
after
I
we're
didn't know
done,
that.
I'll talk to you about what those websites are because I'm the same way. I don't write that much. I record into my phone voice to text and then it's all written. And I've written 6 books that way. So
Wow.
so it is doable because some of us communicate better with our fingers, writing on, pen on paper or on the computer. Some of us communicate better when we speak. And you and I are both better speakers than we are writers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I rather
yeah,
speak.
and so it's super easy. You just write you speak it into the phone and you send it off to a transcription service and it comes back as a Word document and then you have a chapter done. It's very cool. So besides the book that you're
Oh.
gonna speak slash write, what's next for you? What is your future? What do you want to accomplish? What's the big goal?
um my I think the ultimate goal that I want is I want to have my own talk show. I need to have the Wally Green show. It just sounds so cool. The Wally Green
It
show,
does.
Dun, dun, dun. Welcome, the Wally Green show. Yeah. So that's one of my major that's like my end life goal. Like that's what I need to get.
Cool.
I need to get the Wally Green show. My goal for right now um is boosting my social media. That's it's crazy. It's become extremely important to me now. And I've had social media for, I don't know, 10 years and I never used it and was never interested. But going through COVID and stuff and just understanding the benefits of it and how it could help, now I'm crazy about it. Like I'm just like I'm so like I've spent this month with such an intense passion. Like I'm an Instagram expert right now. You can ask me anything and I will tell you exactly about Instagram because I've spent hundreds of hours on Clubhouse speaking to people who have 1.4 million followers
Wow.
and just, I'm not afraid to talk and asking these people, how can I make this better? What can I do? They have this saying, you always try to surround yourself with people smarter than you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've been doing this whole month. I've been going deep and just talking to everyone. All these people, they have 1.4 million followers. These guys, it's amazing. It's amazing of the income actually that they get just from this. It's really mind-boggling. So yeah, I've been talking to a lot of them, and then I've been really like just being vocal on Clubhouse, having rooms, talking rooms, and just trying to build my social media. I just made a TikTok page, and that's actually doing pretty well for a 7-day page.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's funny because I made a page actually. I made a page a year ago, and I literally and I put something so funny. At least I thought it was funny. And I mean, yeah, and it I got one follower, and that was a follower of a kid that I teach, and I got no views, and I couldn't believe it. Like, and it stayed like that for a year, and then I say, you know what, screw this, I'm done with TikTok. And then now I met these people who, like I said, they have 2 million, 1.4 million, 5 million followers, and then they're telling me this is what you got to do, and now I do exactly what they told me to do, and now it's totally different. Now, like one of my videos, my Steve Harvey video, right? I think I posted 4 days ago. It's got over 8,000 views,
Wow.
which I couldn't even get. I couldn't even get one view before. Yeah. So it's now my passion and it's my goal. Like my immediate goal right now is to build my social media. I need to get to 10,000 followers in Instagram. That's what everybody says. And the magic number in Instagram is 10,000 because when you get to 10,000, there's a feature that you can only get when you're at 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's my goal. I got a long way to go, but I'm gonna get there.
I have no doubt because you're one of those people that you set your mind to it and you visualize it and you're also willing to do the work, which I think is incredible.
Yes.
I would love for you, since we're talking about social, I'm going to put all of this in the show notes, but if you could share how people can find you on Instagram, on Facebook, on Clubhouse, what is your handle on all of these so that we have it
Yeah.
here for the record?
My handle is the same everywhere. It's Wally Green NYC. And it's gonna be the same. I try to keep all my social media, what's the word I'm looking
Consistent?
for? Not consistent. Well, yeah, maybe consistent or uniform. So it's always going to be the same picture. The picture you see in my Facebook is the picture you see in my Instagram is the picture. Well, the TikTok is a little different because that has a video thing, but all social media for me is going to be Wally Green NYC.
All right.
Except for TikTok because there's a Wally Green NYC with an underscore, but Wally Green NYC.
Okay. I'm gonna put exactly that in the show notes, and we are going
and follow my Instagram. I gotta get to 10,000 followers. I'm so, it's nuts. I'm like listen. I'm like a kid with this. It's ridiculous. Like this has made me become a child. Seriously, today I was having a conversation with a 13-year-old from Russia.
Amazing.
13-year-old kid, and we're talking, and this kid's got like this kid's got 500,000 followers, and he's 13, and I'm like, hey man, can you help me out?
How are you doing that? Yeah. I want to do that too.
Yeah, like you're 13 and you don't know anything. Like, what's going on here? Yeah, so I had this 13-year-old kid, man, and now we're like good friends. Like he's actually a gymnast, so he showed me some videos of him doing like flips and stuff. It's crazy,
amazing.
But so that's my goal, man. Got to build this social media. This year, I got to do it.
Okay. Well, that's one of the ways to get to the Wally Green show is to have your audience demand it.
Oh man, you see, so now you get it. That's the hope. Like people, like a lot of people go, social media is a waste of time. It could be, but I know what my goal is, right? If I have 5 million followers on Instagram, I think it's going to be a good chance I can get that show.
Right.
And if I can't get that show, I can make my own show.
Sure.
With 5 million followers. And then someone's going to say, oh man, this guy has a huge following. Let's make this show happen. I mean, if you think about all the successes, look at people I used to follow before they became big, Kay and Peele. Do you know Kay and Peele?
Sure.
So Kay and Peele, before they became huge, they were doing YouTube videos, right? Daily Mail was a YouTube thing. It wasn't even TV, but they got such a huge following. They got such a big following, and now they have their own TV show. So that's the goal that I'm looking for. Like, I need to have the Wally Green show for sure.
I love it. All right. Well, I am so thrilled that I got a chance to chat with you today. What an honor and what fun. I could keep you here for the next 6 hours, frankly, because this is so much fun. And yet I know you have a day to get back to. So I have just one last question to ask you, if that's okay. And it's a question I ask.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad. This is a question that I ask everybody who comes on the show, and it's a silly question, but I find that it can yield some really poignant answers. And here's the question. If you had an airplane that could skywrite anything for the whole world to see, what would you say?
Make love, not hate.
That's all there is.
That's exactly what I would say.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
I love it. Make love, not hate. Wally, once again, I'm so grateful that you were able to join me on the show, and I'm excited to see where you go with all of this, and I'm excited to be one of the first people to watch the Wally Green show when it premieres, when you get that happening. And remember, people, if you're listening,
and then I'm gonna have you on the show.
I'd love it. That'd be amazing. I'll come in. I'll play music and sing. It'll be really fun.
I did.
So, Wally, again, thank you so much. And if you're enjoying this conversation with the phenomenal Wally Green, you're going to need to go find Wally Green, his website and everything. Well, Wally Green NYC on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere. and Clubhouse, it sounds like. If you're on Clubhouse, go follow him. Obviously, he's having a great time and doing incredible things on there too. And then there is the actual website, which is whoiswallygreen.com. And if you're in New York or you're passing through New York, you're going to have to go to Spin and play some ping pong there and have great French fries. I remember the French fries were amazing. And until next time, this is Isolde Trachtenberg for the Innovative Mindset Podcast. And I'm reminding you to listen, learn, laugh, and love a whole lot. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. Please subscribe to the podcast if you're new. And if you like what you're hearing, please review it and rate it and let other people know. And if you'd like to be a sponsor of the show, I'd love to meet you on patreon.com/innovative mindset. I also have lots of exclusive goodies to share just with the show's supporters there. Today's episode was produced by Isolde Trachtenberg and is copyright 2021. As always, please remember this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results, although we can always hope. Until next time, keep living in your innovative mindset.